All right. Good morning. Um, yeah, it's September. What is it? 15th, 16th. It's Tuesday, September 16th. Wow. Made it another day. Wishing nothing but positivity to you. I was thinking about on the way what I want to talk about today. I think a big something that's kind of been on my mind, something I want to research more, and it just makes so much intuitive sense. Is just the energy levels in our body, and just having that body mind connection and understanding where our energies are. Um, I think when I think of myself, my body, I think there's like four main energy centers, right? You have your mind, your heart, your gut, and then the lower part, the reproductive part. You could also maybe even call that just the lower spine. I think even from the little I know about Kundalini, that's kind of what they talk about too. And I think even Joe Dispenza, I've listened to some of his books, and he talks about this too. Is like the spinal fluid, um, and trying to meditate and get that spinal circulation, if you will, throughout your body, and it just help even out your energies. And it makes complete intuitive sense, because I think first and foremost, if there's the most important, I think a lot of people consider the mind as the most important, but to me, I think the most important energy center is the gut. I think everything starts there. I think that's where we get our energy from, right? We consume, food, proteins, amino acids, and things that give us energy, that repair, that give us the substance to repair our organs and repair our wounds and, help feed our brain, give us the fats we need for our brain and mind to work. Um, and and it just and if you have a bad diet, if you have a bad gut, it just typically leads to so many other health conditions, so many other health problems. Um, and it's maybe anecdotal, but I've just seen and heard so many stories of people like with eczema or with just other ailments, like autoimmune disorders. And that's another thing, just how prevalent autoimmune disorders are nowadays. I growing up, I've never really heard the term autoimmune disorder, but now it's just so common. And it's all, I think, a big reason is just the diet, the American diet, you know? And now that's a whole conspiracy. Is this done on purpose to us to keep us sick, to keep us, you know, um, going back to the doctor, going back for prescription medications, looking for that quick band aid, and basically, having that, setting us up on a schedule, a subscription service for the medical industry and for the insurance industry. I think there's definitely an argument to be made there. And then you also have the food industry pushing out, that they pasteurize milk and what that does to the proteins and the enzymes and things, to our gut. Without that pasteurization, milk is just a lot healthier for you. Um, and they added sugar and lied about sugar and the damaging effects of sugar that can have on our body and our glucose levels and our blood sugar levels and what that does to our energy, and what that does to our kidneys, organs, liver, all, you know what I mean, like the downstream effects of just having a bad diet, having a bad gut, having a bad energy center, and that in your body is just, it's horrible. It's incalculable. It really is incalculable because, um, depending on your genetics, depending on your lifestyle, it just can have so many just variety of effects. And I think that's why fasting has become such a thing, too, because it kind of cleans out your gut. And another way I look at it too is anytime you're not eating, your gut is healing. Because I think anytime you eat and consume something, you're kind of damaging your gut. Even if you're eating healthy, you're damaging your gut in a way, and it's taking energy away from other parts of your body to be able to break down and consume whatever it is that you've fed it. And so, I if you're going through it right now, if you're suffering, if you're struggling, if you're trying to find ways to improve, I think that the first energy center to look at is the gut. and to really evaluate what you're putting in your body. You know, are you getting enough water? Are you getting enough salt? I think salt has been demonized, but I think that I think table salt and things like that like should be demonized. But if you're getting, sea salt, Celtic salt, Himalayan salt, that should never be demonized. That's something that your body needs. It has a lot of just minerals and minerals that your body needs and nutrients. And you know that's why drinking too much water can be deadly and can dehydrate you because you're you're basically you're dissolve you're I don't know what's the right word, but you're basically excreting all that salt that's in your body, and now you don't have enough salt and electrolytes. I mean, that's where electrolytes come from. People take those electrolyte packets, and that really they just need salt. you know. Um, Another tip that I read is, especially if you have trouble, if you get up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the restroom and such, is take a little bit of salt, Himalayan salt or Celtic salt, whatever salt that you like, and just put it in your hand, lick it, whatever, put it in some water and drink it, and um, it doesn't have to be much. Just it could be a pinch, could be a little bit more. Play around with it, trial and error, test it out for yourself, and see what it does. But yeah, having that at night can help you out too, because obviously when you're asleep, you're burning a lot of uh, energy, and what's working, what energy center is really active at night is your mind. That's Your mind is kind of going through a repair process as you sleep. So sleep is also obviously very important, and it helps protect that top energy center that we all need. I do believe that mind over matter. That like mind over matter is, if you have a powerful mind, I mean, you could almost trick yourself, into just a better life, even if you have a bad diet, a bad gut, and bad other energy centers. Just if you have that just sheer will, and some people have that. I don't, but some people certainly have that. I've met just most incredible people, but yeah, they don't take care of themselves. They don't have that mind body awareness. They're able to just kind of like shake off the pains and the body ailments that they're suffering from, just because they have that incredible mind and mindset. So I mean, there's just so many ways. I use this term because I love cats, but there's so many ways to skin a cat. It's like to look at things and to have a right mindset. It's going to be unique to you. I'm still trying to find out, still trying to figure it out for myself. But yeah, I just really wanted to, and I didn't really even get into the other energy centers at all, but I think it really does start with the gut. Obviously, the reproductive as a man, like down there, it's like that can take a lot of energy from you as well when you're thinking about lustful thoughts too much. That's kind of an issue that I've always dealt with too. Especially when I was younger, I get a little attention. You start dating someone. It's hard not to, for me, it's hard not to fall in love quick and just think about the future and think about the intimacy and because it's fun. It's fun. It really is. It's instinctual. It's primal. It's but it is a lower base desire. It's not higher conscious thinking, and it can take away from long term goals. If you're not careful, if you're not regulating your energy centers and not really thinking, not thinking forward. Unfortunately, that is a huge problem in our society. Is just delaying gratification. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts. I definitely want to expand on that a little bit more and research it more and write on it more. Um, I've found that lately, man. Like I really want to start reading and writing at night, and it's funny too because usually my typical routine, once I'm able to get settled down, is to watch a TV show, um, you know just something mindless, you know. And I've gotten into anime lately. The last year, I never thought I would get into anime, but it's great storylines, you know. But even that is just like I'm kind of getting bored of that too, you know. And it's funny how life works sometimes. And I'm like, I think it's working in my favor that this kind of entertainment is getting boring to me because I know in my mind that I need to be focusing on just kind of higher level thinking, you know, even if it's just, you know, because it's the end of the day. Your mind is probably a little tired, but um, and I definitely think it's okay to relax, and watch a good show. I just finished watching Dexter recently. I thought that season was really good. So yeah, it's just. But then I started watching Rick and Morty last night, and I was just like, this is not as good, Which I used to love this show. So yeah, it's just weird things, weird thoughts that I'm just kind of putting out there. But anyway, I really do hope that you have a beautiful day and sunshine is upon you. Oh, this is so bad. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Peace out.